Over 200 riders came down to Swaziland to take part in this massive event, and looking forward to some great action out on the circuit that has been prepared very, very well by the organisers. Lots of action, plenty, and about to get underway here on the start line. We caught up with Ron Bailey from the Roost Racing to find out how things are going with his new team.
Yeah, we've got an exciting venture this year. We've got the Kawasaki and the KTM running with the Roost team. Got Gavin Lowe on the 250, Stephen Williams on the Kawasaki 250 as well. Unfortunately, my senior rider, Brian Bader, he's out with an injury, but he'll be back at Jeffreys Bay. On the KTM side, we've got Wynand van der Linde back on the 200 KTM, and we've got Hilton on the 200 class on the 250 two-stroke, four-stroke. And yeah, no, we've got a good team going with Alex. I think today, with the heat and everything, my guys are experienced. We'll have at least 4 guys in the top 15.
Yeah, basically what we've done is we split the team in two. We've got the Hondas sponsored by Honda Santon on the 4 strokes, and the Yamahas on the 2 strokes sponsored by Linux Yamaha. And basically the 2 riders for the Yamaha are Matthew Dean, defending 125 champ, and Wynand Kleinans, number 17. On the Honda side, we've got 3 pro riders there. We've got Corey van der Berg, who did quite well last year, ending up 14th. We have a young prospect for the future, which is Sam Barnard, number 32, and another old rider that we've had for a while, Aquibus Jonk.
I haven't been riding national for us for about 2 years now. Last year I decided to do the roof, and Ralph Pitchford gave me a 450 Beta to ride, and the bike is absolutely awesome. It's so easy to ride. So I had a good result at the roof, and Swaziland, they said it was going to be nice and technical, so we thought I'd come and give it a bash. And the terrain is unbelievable, so I'm just got no pressure on me, I've got nothing to prove. So I'm just going to take it easy all day and have fun.
The team to beat this year, of course, will be the AGA LG KTM team.
I think if you want to compete at the top level, it's important to have the backup of a team, and particularly one like KTM, where the manufacturer, the importer and the factory are involved. We've got the best equipment, there's no doubt about it. And with the best equipment, you can get the best riders. So the advantage over being in a privateer team is just, it's huge.
On the line and about to get underway, Great Dick from the Schimmels Yamaha team leads the boys out and into the first racing section of the day 1. Right on his tail will be Bolly van Rooyen, and then it's number 4, and this is a man to watch out for, Spencer Creel. He's going to be very, very quick as he heads off down the airfield to start racing section 1. Right on his tail will be Gavin Lowe from the Roost. Also a very quick man. We saw him in action earlier on this year at the National Enduro Cross event, and here we see him in action out on the circuit and into the first racing section. You can see slightly different conditions compared to last year. Joining me in the commentary booth, as always, Daryl Curtis. Daryl, slightly different conditions, as I said, and a new route for this year's event.
Yeah, that's right. Swaziland is always a very technical race and one of the riders' favourites. I mean, you know, you head out into the mountains and it's rocky, it's foresty, and it's hard work.
Rest of the field making their way down and out onto the circuit. That's Jaco van Mark on the Luri Yamaha. As you can see, some nice little sections here with lots of action and plenty to start here. Clayton Enslin on the Beta. First new outing for the Beta team, and it's good to see Clayton already up there and starting to rock and roll on this machine.
Yeah, it's good to get riders like Clayton back. I'm back now after my layoff after about 4 months with my knee surgery. My first national back, and I'm looking forward to the season. It's going to be tough getting back into it.
Dale, you're using most of this season just to get some fitness in so that you can go across and do some of the WFO events, I believe?
Yeah, this year we're going to be concentrating on the WFOs in Natal. They're awesome events, national enduros, and obviously as many national off-roads as we can.
Right, out onto the circuit now. This is the ORD band and really pushing hard at this point in time. Number 14, Corey van den Berg on the line is his teammate waiting to get underway. There's 2 teams here in the ORD, one riding Yamaha, one riding the Honda machines, and it's great to see that ORD getting behind off-road racing in a big way. Linux also behind this team now as number 15 flies through there and pushes hard right from the start. It's good to see that Matthew Dean, last year's champion in the 125s, is already on pace. 17 is the next man out, also riding for the ORD team, and that is Wynand Kleinans. Then we got the first of the Husky Viners there. Carl LaRue pushing hard. Big 4-stroke doing double time. Lawrence Burton having a little tough time out on the 2-stroke. Riding for Ramco Suzuki, a big team for them as well this year, so keep an eye out for the Ramco Suzuki boys. They're going to be in amongst some of the usual contenders as per usual. And 27 is the next man out and really trying hard. You can see pushing it to the limit there. I don't know if these guys are pacing themselves too well here, Daryl. It's a long day in the saddle and really the pace is pretty hot up front here.
Yeah, you know, the first racing section is 110 kilometers long, and everybody wants to start up front for the racing section too. And you know, the guys are pushing as hard as they can. It's not that strenuous. You can race 100% from start to finish.
As you can see, pretty much an easy ride of it at the moment. Another Ramco man going through there. But wait till they get up into the forest. That's where the sections are going to change. That's where the guys are going to have their heads about them, keep their wits about them, and of course also have to concentrate very, very hard, because these forest sections that have been planned for today's racing are going to be absolutely amazing. As I say, we go into the forest and we pick up with Rian van Niekerk. Van Niekerk, a man who's going to be very tough to beat on this course today. I think he's going to have a little bit of an edge over Gray, and in fact he has. He's already caught Gray and got past him. But Gray Dick right on it, as is Spencer Creel. Two teammates pushing hard. As you can see, this is Boyle van Rooyen. Daryl right on his tail. Clayton Insolent also doing a great job so far in the beta.
Yeah, I can see at this stage the guys are all right on top of each other, so it's going to make for an exciting start for racing section 2.
Oh, we're picking up a new in the forest here. Let us through and tell us exactly how difficult it was through this forest section. It looks like you can't even see a thing in front of you.
Well, coming up to the end of the day, it's only a really short section of about 5 k's where you're in the thick bush like that, so it's not too hectic.
Cools the bike down a bit, I suppose, as well, just to give you a little bit of an opportunity to get out of the hot sun.
Yeah, the forest is one of my favorite areas. It's always nice in between the trees. It's more enduro style racing. It's awesome fun.
A lot of guys weren't as happy as what you were about that and having the enduro section as opposed to a complete off-road section. Most of these guys are a bit worried that it might be a little bit too technical.
Well, I think it's the perfect format for a race to try and build skills in South Africa and get a lot of the guys that are normally millifield races to understand and learn more about the technical riding.
And of course, if you go overseas, this is the kind of terrain that you're going to be in most of the time. It's a very similar kind of feel to Romaniacs.
Yeah, Romaniacs is a lot easier than this, of course, but this is definitely more of what the guys race overseas in the GNCCs and that kind of thing, except they have much rougher sections with big whoops and ruts in all the corners. You can see over here, it's very smooth. It's a new terrain.
It's good to see that they are using new terrain on this event as opposed to last year's event, and it's great to see that the riders are enjoying it as much as anybody else there. Here we got Corey on the ORD Honda, right on his tail is 37, Casper Badenhorst, and we saw him in action already this year on Rapid Motion Dirtworks, but this time out in the proper areas that he should be riding as opposed to in a stadium section that we saw earlier. 32, another man on the ORD team pushing hard and really trying at the moment is Samuel Barnard, and he's having a great time of it. This forest section proved to be a very, very popular one, and that's another man from the National Enduro Cross section. That's Steve. Steve Williams pushing hard on his Kawasaki, but here's a man who's really flying. Barry Creel starting 80th on the day. He's already up to the top 20. Great effort there from one of your teammates.
Yeah, Barry's had a long layoff, and he's been doing a lot of motocross, so this riding will suit him well. And starting 80th, there's already a line cut in the bush, and it's an easy way to make up time.
Just caught a glimpse of Brett Cummings there on his Kawasaki, and guys are starting to really rut up these turns in the forest. We're coming out of the forest now onto a slightly faster section. Really pushing hard, these boys, and trying to make up for lost ground that they might have had earlier on. Some of our senior riders coming through there as well, and some of the masters. Really, it's a great event with almost 220 entrants here today. Lots of new seniors, lots of new master riders, and of course some changes to the way that the national categories are going to be split up this year. Give us a little indication on what's happening with the national championships this year, Daryl.
Well, again for this year we have an overall champion and your class champion. So you'll have a 125, a 200, 250 and a 500 champion. And you'll also have a senior and the masters having both their own championships. Seniors from 38 years and older and masters 45 and above.
So lots of action and competition right through the field, and of course with such big fields it's fantastic for off-road racing overall.
Yeah, we've really seen the sport grown, and with effort like this from the organisers, it can only get better.
Very well marked route, as you can see. Almost the entire route is candy tape left, right and centre as they go through the forest, but of course as we get out of the forest into the more open areas, and this is Spencer Creel. He's now hit the front and pushing hard. Right on his tail, as per usual, the Shimwells Yamaha man, your best mate there, Gray, pushing it to the limit. And look at this, Clayton Insolent up to 3rd place. Great effort from Clayton so far.
Yeah, and also notable here, here comes Rian van Niekerk, obviously on his 254 stroke. The grass is very long and the guys have to really take care because it can be very dangerous first time around. You see there's not really a line made yet, so.
So for the guys that are leading out, it's a bit more difficult on this first racing section, but of course there is some candy tape. There are also some red markers in the grass, but to try and find those red markers when you're doing close to 100 k's an hour probably is not as easy as what it looks. As we see there, Paulie just going a bit wide.
Dead right. You can see the guys are very cautious here. You know, it's no good throwing your race away on a treacherous section like this.
Number 9, Yaku for Mark Lurie, Yamaha. Also looking for those red markers in the long grass. Not an easy thing to do. We used to do it on cross-country mountain biking at close to 10, 15 k's an hour. You guys are doing a lot higher speeds. Looks like there might have been a problem here for number 13, losing some of the guards there, or just a bit of plastic off the side of the motorcycle.
That's a filter cover, so Craig's obviously lost it, stopped and just picked it up quickly. And here comes a man who's looking forward to riding in the senior class next year, Wayne Farmer.
Nice to see Wayne so good on the gas. Errol Dalton on the Beta, the second of the Betas there. Natra Freight, of course, sponsoring that team this year. And they've got a great preparer of that motorcycle. That's one of the boys that's been around with Alfie Cox for a long, long time.
Yeah, Ralph Pitchford's been involved with KTM for many years, and now obviously with Beta, and he's heading it up, and he's put the race team together.
One of our 125 boys there, Malcolm McCann on the Ramco Suzuki, pushing hard just behind another one of the KTM riders. Here comes the Husky. And riding his tail, look at this man. I'll tell you something, Barry's going to be a man to watch out for by the end of this racing stage, because he is coming through this field like a hot knife through butter. Steve Williams on the Kawasaki. Nice to see him up there as well, also riding for the Roost. And then it's the Line X ORD man. Wynand Kleinans followed very closely by Dylan Ings. A little bit of problems with the brakes. They're squeaking a bit. That might just be a bit of dirt on the disc. Heading out of the forest now and down towards the finishing area very soon. It's almost the end of the day for these boys. They're hanging on for dear life. How do you feel at this point in time, Daryl?
Well, the guys will be a little bit tired now, because obviously pushing that hard for 110 kilometers, you are going to be tired.
Casper Bardenos making it look pretty easy as he comes through there. Then we've got Seamus McCarthy, Cycle Centre KTM on his tail. Only about 3 k's to go. There's not much for these boys to hang on to, and you can see some of them a little bit more tired than the rest. I suppose that just depends on how much and how hard you push during the first racing section, eh, Daryl?
Yeah, that's your choice. You know, you can either pace yourself and try to push harder on racing section 2, or like the front runners, just treat it like a motocross section. Go as hard as you can, because you're going to want to start up front.
ORD Honda man, Corey Vandenberg, he's been around a long, long time. Makes it look pretty easy coming out of this river section. Some of the riders just parked on the side there. What are they expecting to see? A bit of action through here? I've seen the camera, and they realize Rapid Motion Dirtworks is in the house. And as we speak, someone stalls their motorcycle coming down.
Yeah, those are marshals out there. It's good to see a lot of guys out on the course, helping out and making sure that everything runs smoothly out on the course.
Howdy, marshals. How's it going? Nice to see you boys. Just wanted to make sure that my Michelin tire's still okay. 162, he has a brand new man to the sport, and that is, of course, Theo Potgieter, a youngster to the sport as well, only 16 years of age. It bodes well for the rest of this year, and also for the sport of off-road if we've got 16-year-olds already dominating in their first event. Alan Hall on the TM. Well, he's having some fun and games out there in the senior class and doing a great job of it so far. Not easy to spot, though, with that red number on a white background. Here we've got a white number on a blue background. Daryl, maybe you want to explain to the viewers exactly what the difference is with the numbers and how they run them?
Well, they did it this way to make it easier for people to see what bike you're riding. Like there was a black number on a white background, that's a 250 class. White number on a blue background is a 125 class. White on green is 200. White on black is open class. Red number on a white background is seniors. And
white number on a red is masters.
There we go.
There you go. Not easy for television to pick up on that, though. I tell you something, it's making it very difficult for us to try and pick up these numbers. Maybe we should just stick to, as we see right here, black on white, and then just give each of the classes certain numbers that they can run. But here we go. And nearly at the end of racing stage 1, and we've got some boys getting out of shape here, but it is nearly the end of the day. This is Lawrence Merton for the Ramco Suzuki team on a 125.
I'm not sure which way to go there.
Yeah, pretty much one of the more difficult bikes to ride, I suppose, on this type of event. I suppose you need a little bit more lower down torque. On a 4-stroke would be a slightly better motorcycle, I would say, Daryl. But you tell me.
Yeah, also the 200 2-strokes have got a lot of torque, a 250 2-stroke. And the 250 4-strokes are really good in this type of terrain.
Even though the 125 is a lighter motorcycle, I suppose it'll make it a little bit more difficult to ride. If you don't have that power and you've got to keep going up and down through the gearbox. But end of the racing section 1, it was Barry Creel who had a phenomenal effort the entire day to get to the top of the field, starting in 80th place and finishing up on top just ahead of his brother Spencer. Down a little bit further on, we had Marcus Talliard on the KTM, Alex Vals for the Roost team there in 12th place. A nice effort from Errol Dalton on the Beta. And, of course, right in 20th place, Theo Portkita, the youngster, on the Suzuki. The man to beat today, though, was Barry Creel riding through the field.
With Lawrence not here, I think everyone's pretty much, we're all kind of even. And fortunately today, I had a good ride, and I'm starting in front tomorrow. And so that should be good. But it's saying that I started 80th today, so I haven't really, ridden out front, and I haven't been racing for quite a while. So I'll just have to see how it goes. I'll just hope for the best.
Fitness levels?
I've been training hard. I was pretty tired after today. I'd just like to thank my trainer, Ursula Morris. But it should be good.
My time trial started off pretty good this morning. The first half went according to plan. Second half, I didn't go as well as what I would have liked, but it's a lot of long grass, so the people at the back had a bit of an advantage on me. But tomorrow I'm behind them, so then I've got the advantage in the grass, and they have to make the way. So I think it's actually better the position I am, so I'm not far behind, and I think I'll be able to catch up.
Speaking of not far behind, the Roost Kawasaki man, Gavin Lowe.
Well, it's a good start for the year. The Swaziland's always a good race to come to. It's so far it's the hottest race of the year so far. And man, the guys are going to battle today and the weekend. Otherwise, it was good riding. This year, I'm hoping to keep more of a consistent pace and get high points at every national, and then finish up in the next top 5 again this year.
Caught up with a man who didn't enjoy last year's event, but seems to be enjoying this year's.
For the first race of the year, I'm a little bit nervous. Last year I lost a kidney here and with a big crash when I hit the tree. But today went okay, just took it easy. And fitness is alright, just in the mind, it's not there, But I'm looking at winning the Turner Off-Road Championship this year. Got after me in training since the roof. Fitness is really good, and we've got a team who's backing me up this year again. Ron Bailey, the whole Roost team, all the pit crews really, really sharp, and a lot of friends and that supporting me. So I'm feeling good for the year. We're just going to take it easy this weekend and get through this weekend, and then push hard at the rest of the races through the year, where it's a bit faster and more suited terrain to me.
After a long, hard day's racing, a little bit of preparation for tomorrow's action. As we head off for an ad break, stay tuned for Racing Stage 2. Welcome back to the magnificent Kingdom of Swaziland for Racing Stage 2 of the Pikes Peak Orion Swazi 400. We saw plenty of action, and the man to beat, of course, was on the KTM, Daryl, your teammate Barry Creel, with a phenomenal effort yesterday, getting from 80th place to first place. But the man who'll be chasing him down will be none other than former champion Grey Dick on the Schimmels Yamaha.
It's a great event. Over the last few years, the terrain's changed a lot. We've come over to the Pikes Peak side, and it's made it a lot more technical and I think better for the riders. A lot of riders, I think, are battled yesterday. There's a lot of hill climbs and that will really be difficult. But yeah, with the new terrain for this race is unbelievable. It's going to take a lot out of the guys today, and to get to the front's not going to be easy.
As you saw at the beginning of the show, a brand new team in ORD Honda, running some new sponsors as well, and flying the flag high for them is Corey van den Berg.
Well, hopefully we can stay on the bike, finish all the races, get the points in the bag, and then the championships will come itself.
Okay. This exhaust system you guys have got on the Honda, tell me a bit about it.
Well, I think the whole package on the bike works brilliantly. The pipe itself is hard and steel, so it doesn't bend and dent that easily. It widens the power range. It also makes it much more easy to ride. So especially high-speed sections, it works a lot, and low-down sections, and the rest is up to the bike.
Down on the line and looking for a big performance from his motorcycle today. The man to beat yesterday, coming through the field as we mentioned, 161, Barry Creel, and on his tail is going to be that man, Grey Dick. And of course, right on his tail will be none other than Clayton Enslin on the Beta. Looking a bit pensive there, Mr. Curtis. Are you looking forward to today's racing section?
Yeah, I am. It's always nerve-wracking, and I'm not racing a national for a while. The pace is very hot. All these guys up front here are out to win, and the pace is extremely hot. So yeah, it is always nerve-wracking.
Down the airfield on the start on the back wheel and giving a little bit of showboating there was none other than Grey Dick. Here goes Daryl, and away he goes, getting the big thumbs up. Come on, says Butch, we've got to get going. think this man here might be a possible threat today. We saw how quick he was in some of the sections yesterday, and hopefully he can do the similar kind of thing today on that AGA LG KTM. Into the first section. This is a brand new section, and we've got a brand new leader from the start. Clayton Enslin on the gas and flying on that beater, followed very closely by Grey Dick on the Schimmels Yamaha. Then look at that, Rian van Niekerk up already into third spot, so he means business. Well, here comes Barry. It looks like a possibility of a mistake somewhere on the circuit for Barry Kriel there. How easy is it to make one of those, Darryl?
Yeah, very easy, especially at the start of a new section. You know, both Barry and Spence had made a wrong turn, allowing Gray to get past. But they're pushing hard to try and make up time.
Running Garmin GPSs there, I'm sure, as what you're doing on your motorcycle, so that wouldn't have been able to get back as we see Bolly van Rooyen for Sadiba Kawasaki coming through there. And I tell you something, not an easy thing to do to spot these markers, but even though the course is so well marked, a lot of riders running with those GPS systems just to make sure that they don't get lost in the kingdom of Swaziland. Van Delport, I'm sure, is one of them. Darryl, just give us the advantage of running a GPS system as opposed to just running with the markers.
The advantage of running a Garmin GPS is, of course, to find your way if you do get lost. In a race like this, you don't really need it because it's extremely well marked, but it's extra security, and if you do make a wrong turn, you can look down and get back on track quickly.
Does it affect your riding? Is it a bit of a distraction, or do you wait till you get into a section where you can actually take a good look at it?
No, not at all. You know, you hardly look at the GPS. It's just in case you do get lost, you look down, and I mean, straight away you can see where the track runs. It's as simple as that.
Do you have to plot in any of the areas into the system before, or does it just come up automatically?
Yeah, the organisers, with help of Garmin, download the route for competitors before the event, and it's just a strap on your bike and off you go.
Put in a little memory stick and away we go, and you're not going to get lost on the route.
Yeah, there's no memory stick on the little Fortrex 201. It's got internal memory, so it's plugged into the computer and the route is downloaded.
Phenomenal stuff, and that's the way racing's going when it comes to off-road and enduros, and we see it often in the Dakar with these huge big systems put on those monstrous bikes. Here, of course, slightly smaller bikes, but working just as well. As you see the rest of the field starting to fly through this section. Quite a nice little section here. I think a little bit technical, but awesome stuff as they come into the refuel for the first time. Casper Badenhorst just ahead of Wynand van der Linde. Van der Linde coming in to get a refuel, and of course to refuel himself. New goggles, a little bit dusty out there, but not as bad as what a lot of guys had thought, eh, Darryl?
Yeah, well, the route being as technical as it is, you know, the speed is a lot lower, and obviously less dust.
So most important for these guys to get some refueling for themselves, pick up a little bit of food if they can, because of course it is all important to keep yourself refreshed as well as the motorcycle. And it looks like everything's going well here with this pit stop for Wynand van der Linde for the Roost. As you see, I think that was Carl coming through in the background there on the Husky. Most important is, of course, to make sure that you get your motorcycle refueled as much as possible. Darryl, big distances between the refuel points?
Not really. It's limited to 60 kilometers. So, most guys, even with a motocross tank, they should be able to make the 60 kilometer distance.
Tyrone Skitter getting refueled there and running a slightly longer distance tank than what most guys would do, and Marco Liberatore putting in lots of work here to get his man, the brand new rider to Husqvarna, out on the circuit as quickly as possible. Away goes Tyrone, a good pit stop for him, and we pick up on his dad Mark a little bit later on into the racing stage 2 at a marshal point, just getting the tick from the marshal, and away he goes. It's a little bit of a dangerous section here if you're not got your wits about you here, Darryl. We've got barbed wire and some big stakes sticking out the ground, vampire stakes that you'd see in Romaniacs, I'm sure.
Yeah, that kind of thing you always got to look out for, you know. You don't want to run into one of those in the dust.
Especially here, it's going to be a little bit more dusty than most sections because of the farm roads that are here. Rider just missing out there, unfortunately, just not seeing the marker that makes him go left and down the hill. Some of our senior riders here coming through thick and fast. 467 on the Suzuki. Mark Carmichael followed by 480. A lot of these riders out for the first time in Nationals, and of course, as we said earlier, picking up that a lot of new entrants in the Masters and Seniors class is boding well for the future of this sport, and of course all our youngsters coming through is going to make for interesting racing throughout the season at our national off-road and enduro events right throughout. Well, Darryl, looks like these 5 riders are pretty much sticking close to one another, not to try and get lost, and also to help each other throughout the route.
Yeah, just remember a lot of guys also obviously enjoy the events as well. You know, they're not out there for the win, and just going out and having a good time.
That's exactly what they'll be doing here in the Kingdom of Swaziland. I think these guys are having some great fun. Some of the riders picking up on that inside line, and some of them not. Let's see if this man can do it. Oh, a big thumbs up for the camera. Yep, he's missed the inside line and had to go wide. I think that was all because he was looking at where the camera is. Nice to see that they're enjoying themselves out there, though. This is the most important part of racing, is if you're not having fun, well, you might as well not be out there, hey, Darryl?
That's right, and out here in Swaziland, it's just got spectacular scenery, and I wish sometimes we could just slow down a little bit and have a look around us.
Yeah, I'm sure you wish that when you're doing 120 and so on a motorcycle. I've already seen you enjoying yourself out there, and you're definitely not looking at the scenery. Russell Campbell, Sadiba Kawasaki here of Tyron Marshall. He's also missed that inside line. I think the cameraman is distracting our riders. Ian Merck having some fun out there too. White number on a red background. Yeah, that works very well for TV. Anyway, we're having fun, and some of these riders are getting big support from the crowds here, and all the youngsters from the various townships around Swaziland coming out to give our boys support. Up front though, it's now Grey Dick who leads. Schimmel's Yamaha man looks like he's definitely on it and pinned up this hill.
Grey's having a lot more fun in the technical races on the 250.
Two-stroke 250 as well. Here comes Rian van Niekerk on his tail. Clayton Ensign. Looks like these three riders also sticking pretty much together, although Grey's got a slight gap on these two. I think Clayton is going to be using Rian as a marker, possibly just pacing on Rian's pace, if he can stick with Rian, that is. And, well, speaking of sticking with somebody, here comes Spencer Creel. Looks like he's broken away from yourself. A little bit further back there and picking up on the man himself. How lekker was this section? It looks like it was a fantastic section to ride. Bit of a widowmaker here.
Yeah, it was a nice little hill climb just before the next refuel, and lots of fun.
Well, it looks as if we've lost Barry Creel by the looks of things. Because here comes Bolly van Rooyen, Russell Campbell, Sadiba Kawasaki, bike number 3, and yeah, I don't think...
I'd actually just passed Barry just before this stage, and he'd actually crashed and torn some ligaments in his shoulder.
That's a big pity there. Unfortunately, the man who was so dominant in racing stage 1 out of the race and making his way. Oh, don't have a car there, boy. That's Jaco Vermaak going around. He's seen the cameraman. I don't think he saw the car, though. Something you don't want to hit at close to 100 k's an hour as you come over the top of a rise. 42 out there as well as Marcus Talliard. He's had a great outing as well, considering that it's one of the first times he's been up in the top 20.
Now, Marcus has been a consistent rider, and he's managing to come through the ranks now, and he's getting some nice finishes.
It's great to see, as we saw Gavin Lowe and one of the Ramco Suzuki boys, Theo Potgieter, that's the youngster. He's having a phenomenal ride. He's up to about 11th spot at this point in time. And then a little bit further down, number 13, and that is Craig Stone for the ECS KTM team. Well, it's all action up front there. That's Errol Dalton on the beater. Going in amongst the cows, following on nicely. He's sitting in about 14th place at this point in time, so good effort from Errol on the beater. First time out for them as well in a national off-road event. So great to see the beater boys up there. We saw Clayton up in 3rd place and Errol's up there into 14th spot, so not a bad effort from that team. 39 come flying down there on the 125. Malcolm McCann looking pretty good for a win here on the Ramco Suzuki, although he's got still a lot of competition from those other 125 riders who'll be hunting him down. Michael Craigie here riding with the Team ORD Yamaha man, Wynand Kleinhans, working together nicely there. Try and catch the boys that have got through this section a little bit quicker than what they have. 97 is Jonathan van Wyk. He's also had a great run so far. He's up there in the top 20, so not a bad effort there from Van Wyk. Not a usual contender in the top 20, but he's there. We've got to give him his due. He's worked very hard to be there. A couple of Yamahas here now coming through. Wade Blau on the Sally's Yamaha. He's in about 7th spot in the open class, and right on his tail, Wynand Dalport, teammate to this man, Grey Dick, on the Schimmel's Yamaha. This is a little bit of a technical section here, hey?
Yeah, this is what I prefer. This is what I prefer. I absolutely love this stuff. So there we see Clayton coming through on the beater, looking really good.
Oh, a couple of dabs there from Clayton, eh?
Yeah,
hasn't got any trials experience.
Hit a fast neutral there, yeah. Here comes Rian. Absolutely flying on the 254 stroke. He's really at home on this bike, and you can see he's making up good time.
I think this is where we're going to see a little bit of a dominance from him too. Oh, Spencer having a little bit of a tough time there. Foot out on both sides over that little rutted section. Idea here, sit down, stand up, what do you think? Well, here you come. Let's have a look and see what you do.
Sitting down and just keep the gas on, flat out.
Try and keep the traction on the back wheel. Doesn't look as steep as it probably is in real life. The camera flattens it out a little bit, eh, Darren?
Always. It is actually a very steep section, yeah.
Rutted as hell, as we can see, but really great stuff. Here comes Jaco Vermaak. Lurie Yamaha man coming into the section too. He's had a great ride so far as well, and also probably a contender for a championship this year, no doubt.
Yeah, we saw over the last season, he's actually very consistent, and him too. He's had some steady results through the year.
6th place at the moment for Jaco in the open class and doing a great job. And then we've got the 250 rider, that's Gavin Lowe for the Roost. He's sitting in 3rd place overall for the Roost so far. for the 250 class. So a phenomenal effort from him too. Lots of work being done in the off-season by a lot of these riders to get fit so they can be up and running in the top contending positions. It's the ECS KTM there of Craig Stone. And this is a man who's really turned on the gas this year. That's Steve Williams. Danny Heenan right on his tail in the 200 class, sitting in about 6th place. Nice run from him on that KTM. Ooh, a little bit off track there.
And Danny, of course, being from Swaziland, he's familiar with the terrain.
He spends his whole life out on these little roads, having fun and games in the kingdom of Swaziland. 17's Vainon Kleinans, ORD, Yamaha team. Michael Craigie coming into this little bit of off-camber section. Got to keep on the inside of those corners. Don't let the bike drift out too wide, otherwise it is going to wash away from you. Been a tough day so far for these riders, and we're heading into the final stages of this race. Lots of work still to do, and of course after a whole day's racing the day before, Daryl, it's now all about fitness and your ability to hang on.
Oh, definitely, especially with this kind of racing. You know, if you're not fit, you're going to start fading towards the end, and you know, especially the guys at the top. It's critical to actually keep the gas wide open throughout the race, otherwise you're just not going to take the one.
487, this is the leader at the moment. That's Wayne Everton in the senior class. He's got Kingsley Nurden, who's going to be closing him down pretty shortly, I'm sure. As we speak, we see the man coming into picture. That's Kingsley Nurden. So Nurden with the opportunity here of closing down on the leader. Has he got enough time? Has he timed this right? And is he going to be able to catch Wayne Everton? And of course, here comes Dudley Smith. Now, Dudley Smith is the reigning champion in this class. Is he going to have enough time also to catch those two men in front of him? Or has he not timed this right? It looks as if he's a little bit off the pace at this point in time. You can see not in a good rhythm there. And maybe just for this section, he wasn't having it all his own way. 364 is Greg Ballington. He's on the RBS Yamaha. RBS putting a lot of effort into Yamaha teams down in Natal. So it's good to see Ballington with the good support there from RBS. Pat Jansen is the next man down. Looks like he's been having a great time of it. He looks pretty relaxed on that motorcycle, considering that he's already done almost 400 kilometers on a motorcycle. Carlos George also having some fun. 352 on the Ramco. Well, that's Sean Kirk. And right on his tail, the lead master, 245, Mark Skitter. We saw him a bit earlier. He looks pretty relaxed out there on that motorcycle. 354, Raymond Pratt-Jones. Whoa, getting it a bit sideways on the gas. Maybe just taking his eye off the road and having a quick look up at the camera. That's what always happens. Don't look at the camera. Look at what you're doing out on the track. And, well, speaking of out on the track, how's this for a little section? Nice little rocky outcrop here. Of course, all the riders had to go up it. Some of them making it look a little bit easier than others.
Yeah, it's all in technique, really. You know, some of the guys sit, some of the guys stand, and of course the guys are pedaling. So it just depends on what kind of style you want to use.
Terence Hyde, second of the Masters here, coming through. He's way off though, almost half an hour behind our lead master, and that of course was Mark Skitter on 245. 368 starting to make his way through the field, looking pretty good at this point in time, and that of course is Ben Carey. But up front, it's all about the battle between this man, Grey Dick, coming to the Marshall point on the Schimmels Yamaha. He's going to be closely followed by, well, I was going to say Rian van Niekerk, but it looks as if Clayton's got ahead of him. Yes, indeed, but Rian's right there. So Clayton, Henslin, and Rian van Niekerk battling hard to try and catch Grey Dick for this overall win.
You can see exactly how fast the pace is. There's absolutely no rest for these guys.
Spencer's in fourth and riding with number 4 at this point. Well, is Spencer going to be able to catch those three boys in front of him? I'm not quite sure. The pace up front is pretty hot. Young Daryl Curtis also pushing very hard. We're going to make up for lost ground earlier on in the day. Daryl, you lost a little bit of time somewhere. What happened out there?
I'm still a little bit rusty, you know, 4 months off, and it's going to take me a while to get back on pace again.
Wally van Rooyen looking pretty good as well. So far, our top 10 riders for the overall are looking pretty awesome, and there's not much time between them. Jaco Vermaak on the Lure Yamaha being followed very closely by 26. That's Wayne Farmer on the gas. This is quite a nice little section. I'm sure the boys enjoyed here. 42 is Marcus Talliard. He comes through the quarry section looking pretty good. Big rocks though in the way, and you're going to have to watch out for some rocks being kicked up by the man in front of you, if you have got a man in front of you. The Roost's Gavin Lowe. He's had a fantastic ride and sitting in the top 10. He's just going to hang in there and hopefully he can finish up in that top 10 position. Nice little battle here between the youngster, 162, Theo Potgieter, absolutely hauling through the section. Right on his tail, Craig Stone, ECS KTM. Stevie Williams. I can tell you something. This man is a great turner for the books this year. We saw him with a lot of effort at the National Enduro Cross. And right on his tail was Errol Dalton on that beater. Danny Heenan just ahead of 39, and that, of course, is Malcolm McCann leading the 125, but he's got Vainon Kleinans right on his tail, and Kleinans can smell the two-stroke in that pipe just ahead. He wants to take the first position here. And he's going to have to work hard to catch the Ramco Suzuki man. 52 is Wade Blood. He's had a good run so far for the Sally's Yamaha team. And I'm sure that the next man up, yes indeed, number 20, Vainon Delport, third place in the 125 so far for him. And he's got a little bit of a gap to make up on the two men in front of him. And that, of course, is Portkita and Kleinans. Terrence Kita on the Husky Barnard just ahead of this man, Samuel Barnard on the ORD Honda. Coming through this little section, I think this is one of the nicest sections we've seen all day. Boys are standing up and having a great time of it as they come into this quarry. Gerald, having gone through this section a couple of times yesterday and of course today, do you get used to it, and do you find it a bit easier to come through the section for the second time?
Yeah, definitely. You see a dramatic increase in the pace, and I think the guys chopped off at least 10-15 minutes on the second time around.
Casper Badenhorst just climbing onto the brakes a little bit late there. He manages to come through this section. He realizes that he made a slight mistake. He gets straight back up and onto the pace once again. It's good to see a lot of club riders here as well, and lots of opportunity for them to make up for lost ground. Here's Carl. He's got a lot of ground to make up. He's not normally this far down in the field, so hopefully he's going to be able to do something on that big husky of his.
And Carl, of course, his nickname being Millies, brought up on a millie farm, and you'll much prefer, you'll see him racing through the millies at home than here in the mountainous terrain.
Likes the wide open, flat out sections, I suppose, as opposed to coming into quarries like this where it's a little bit more technical.
That's right, yeah. Carl's always been one, always does well at the desert races, Mafeking, and in the fast flat out races.
Ian Ensign here for Ramco Suzuki. And then a couple of riders starting to open up and let the other quicker riders through. That's always a good thing to see. Ruan Roberts here. He's, of course, one of our youngsters that's come through the junior ranks too. Theo Portkita, his rival, a little bit further up than what he is. Of course, also his first time out on a national off-road. Here comes Corey. Big thumbs up from him. Looks like he's having fun and games out there, although he's a little bit off the pace. Not going to be too worried. I'm sure he's having a great time of it. 22, Matthew Merton. Oops, little mistake here. Owen Warren just having to take evasive action and rejoin the route at the right place on his gas. But with only a couple of Ks to go, well, this is a bit of a letdown for the books here. Number 7 so far down. What's going on here?
Carl Poppleton actually, on the time trial the day before on racing section 1, crashed into a hole and snapped his triple clamp off and fell back to over 100th place.
That's got to hurt, snapping a triple clamp. Anyway, up front it's now Rian van Niekerk who has hit the front, and Grey Dick has not got an answer to this man. Van Niekerk, as we saw there, absolutely hauling, but Grey Dick just as quick, if not quicker, through this little section. Clayton Ensign now into third spot. I think he's going to have to settle for third here because it looks as if the battle is between Grey and Rian, and I think Rian has got the pace at this point in time. Daryl, what do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, the 254 stroke, he's got it absolutely wide open, and I can see Rian's really enjoying himself.
Another man who's enjoying himself is Spencer Creel from the same team. He's coming through this little rock outcrop section. Makes it look pretty good. Daryl, as per usual, sitting down in the saddle, trying to keep the traction on the back wheel. Oh, a little bit sideways there, eh? Oh, yeah. Take out a bush.
Normal style leg out, sitting down.
Take out a bush. It's all fun. Here comes Bully. Russell Campbell, Sadiba Kawasaki's top rider for the day. Bike number 3 there, that's Bully van Rooyen. 26, Wayne Farmer. Let's see how well he goes through here. Also sitting down, leg out. Oh, he's been to Daryl Curtis's racing school.
Yeah, I'll trying to copy me.
Jaco Vermaak on the Louis Yamaha. He's got both feet off, and now he stands up. That's the way to do it. I think Brian Capper will be happy about the situation of him standing up on the pegs through a technical section like that. The rest of the field are coming streaming through thick and fast here, and it's almost the end of the racing stage 2 here. There's not much time left for these boys to make up the ground that they've lost during the day. Hanging on for dear life, and now no longer hanging on to the man in front of them for support. It's now a chance of picking your right moment to get past and blast away. Craigie Stone having a little bit of a battle there.
This section was actually a sting in the tail just before the end when the guys think they're nearly at home. There's a serious rocky section that was proved to be a real test for the guys.
Well, up front, this is Errol Dalton. Easy to pick him up. Only 7'5" of him on a small little beater. ORD 250 Yamaha there of Vainon Kleinans. Here's Stevie Williams. 39 pushing hard right at the end here. Malcolm McCann for the 125 win. He's got a bit of a chance here to take it, although he's got a long way to try and catch up with the man who's led right from the start, Theo Potgieter, his teammate in the Ramco. All problems there with the gears, but managed to get them sorted out as he heads off. Coming across the line though to take the win, Kingsley Nurden. 353, the ECS KTM man taking the win in the senior class. He'll be followed home very, very closely by Wayne Everton, so good effort from Everton to try and catch him and close him down. Just not enough on the day though. Third place is going to be the reigning champion on number 350. That's Dudley Smith on the Husqvarna. Greg Ballington finishes up in fourth place on the Yamaha ahead of Pat Jansen. Mark Skitter, first of the Masters, finishing up on his Husqvarna, just ahead of the Kawasaki of Prout Jones. How'd the race go there, Kingsley, winning the Swaziland 400?
Oh, very good, man. It's been a hard race. We had a tough time yesterday, but today was a lot better, and I seemed to get in a better rhythm and managed to come through. I'm very happy.
Well, it certainly looks like the day has taken its toll on our seniors and masters because they can't even open a bottle of champagne. Gentlemen, don't worry about the thing, just shake it and let it pop off. There you go. Nice little sip there for Kingsley Nurden. Top of the podium for him. Let's have a little bit of a spray there, boys. Looks like problems there for Dudley Smith. He can't even get the thing open. Moving on to the main race of the day and coming across the line in first place. And can you believe this? Daryl, 5Ks out. We had a monstrous crash for this man. He hung on for 5Ks with a broken shoulder to beat Grey Dick. Well done to Rian van Niekerk from the AGA LG KTM team. Third place, an awesome effort also from this man, Clayton Enslin, first time out on the beater, and he's already in the top 3 positions. Daryl, yourself in fourth place there, great effort from you. Spencer Creel, the teammate behind you, and Paulie van Rooyen, the first of the Kawasaki's. And a phenomenal effort from Theo Potgieter, first time out on the Suzuki to finish 8th overall. Gavin Lowe down in 11th place on the Roost Kawasaki. Vainon Kleinans on the Honda, there in 15th place. Just ahead of him was Errol Dalton on the second of those beaters. This is a big pity though. The man who won the race has broken his shoulder blade. You can see he's in quite an immense amount of pain. Let's find out from Rian what actually happened out on the circuit.
Yeah, I had a good ride this morning. I started in 6th, which was perfect because I knew we had to find the first lap, look for the road, so we all just rode together. Second lap out, the race was on. Myself, Gray and Clayton were together. I caught up to Clayton, passed him and made some time, caught Gray. Me and Gray had a bit of a dogfight. He made a mistake and fell, and that gave me a gap, so I just rode as hard as I could. But about 5Ks from the finish, I hit something that I didn't see, and I just high-sided me. And I think the shoulder is busted.
Great effort from Grey Dick there to finish second overall and first in the open class.
But still not good enough to beat a guy with a broken shoulder.
I rode the one section twice today, and the second time I also got lost. So I don't know. I think I made a few critical mistakes today, and Rian and Clayton got past me at one stage, and I had to fight to get past Clayton again. And then I got lost again, and Clayton passed me. So I just had a bit of bad luck, and yeah, it was a good day. Came in second, happy with it.
Not a bad start to the season.
Yeah, first in class. First in class, second overall. I'm happy.
A nice ride here for the ex-champion on a brand new team, the Beta team, Clayton Enslin.
Not a bad start to the season.
Nah, definitely not. It was actually a good day today. I found it quite interesting with the smaller bikes, me having a 450 and basically squaring up with them. It was actually pretty good, very interesting. I'm very happy with the bike. I'm just looking forward to the year. I think we're going to have a really, basically race full of line. So if it's like this the whole year, I can't complain.
The only thing you're going to be able to complain about is the spray in your eyes. Oh, you're actually going to make up for that and put your own goggles on. Nicely done there. Clayton Enslin not really hearing me spray in. Oh, looks like a man with a broken shoulder can even get the bubblies flying. Well done to Rian van Niekerk, and we hope that he gets well real soon. In the 125 class, it was Theo Potgieter ahead of Malcolm McCann and Vainon Delport, the top 3 there. Rian van Niekerk ahead of Alex Vals and Marcus Talliard in the 200cc class. Big surprise of the day, 16-year-old Theo Potgieter, 125 winner.
It's my first national this year. Yeah, I'm feeling great. It was a tough race, a long race. I'm not used to these long races, but yeah, I'm gonna get used to this. I must. Yeah, and I came first overall today in my class in 7. First in my 1 to 5 class in 7 overall. And yeah, I had a great day today. It was very dusty and fast.
The man who lost out today, unfortunately, was this man, Barry Creel.
Well, they didn't go so well. Probably 30 k's in, the marking was quite bad, and I just followed the GPS route, and it seemed like I did a whole extra, probably 3-kilometer loop. And all the guys that followed, I couldn't find any markers, so I just followed the GPS. And I was back into about 7th. I was behind Daryl, and I charged quite hard all the way back up. And by the first refill, I came in with top 3 guys. It was Clayton, Gray, and Rion. And I passed Rion, and me and Clayton were riding together, and I just hit a rock and went over the handlebars and dislocated my shoulder. So I'm just waiting to go to the hospital so I can put it back in.
Pigs Peak Swaziland 400 was brought to you by ORD, Husqvarna, Roost Racing and HRP. And the next round of the Off-Road National Championship takes place down in J Bay in the Eastern Cape. The Red Cherry 400. Catch the action next week on Rapid Motion Dirtworks.